Hello, welcome. We are back. 1 second. I'm gonna, I'm gonna put this on my community post. I haven't done that in a while. Here we are. Okay. Um, Today we are gonna go over every film I saw in July and rank them on a tier list from A tier to no S tier to D tier. Kind of like what I did a few days ago with the MCU. Testing, testing. Tell me the audio is okay. I've been having a little bit of trouble with my streaming app. Um, Let me make sure I could see the chat from here. Yes, I can. Okay, we got on presentation mode. That's nice. Maybe zoom in a little bit more. There you go. Yeah, actually a little bit more. Like, yeah, that's good. That's better. Oh, here it is. I got some coffee for this live stream because well, my cheek hurts. I think I bit the inside of my gum, so there's like a hole in my cheek that hurts like hell right now. So I'm hoping that like the coffee will help with that. So I fired up the espresso machine. Okay, let's start off with Family Guy presents It's a Trap, which is part of the Family Guy trilogy of their Star Wars specials, which are basically parodies of the Star Wars original trilogy that Family Guy used to do in the early seasons. This came out many years ago. And at this Well, first of all, I really like Blue Harvest. I really like Something Something Dark Side, which is a parody of A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. I think those are some of their better episodes and specials that they came out with. Um, their third film is another story though. It has funny moments, but this came out in like season 8 or I think season 9. And if you don't know, season 8 or season 9 is when the show just kind of, kind of became worse. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad at this point. The first 6 seasons or 7 seasons I really like, but like like season 8 forward, even like season 5 forward, you just feel the quality drop, and this is when the quality was really down. Still, compared to most modern Family Guy, it's still pretty funny. Um, I can't think of any jokes that really stand out to me right now, but there were a couple, especially with their parody of Palpatine, that was really funny. Like when Palpatine said like there's a whole like 180. Look up the scene. I can't explain it, but it was really funny. But there was also a lot of jokes that got dragged out, and that's the thing with Modern Family Guy. A lot of the jokes are dragged out with no comedic timing, whereas in the early seasons, it just went from joke to joke, very snappy. And even in the opening crawl, they said they didn't want to do this. They literally said, "We know this isn't as good as the first two, so hang in there." That's literally a joke they made, and I feel like they were telling the truth there because this really isn't that funny. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna put a D tier. Again, I wouldn't say it's terrible. I wouldn't say I didn't like it. There were some funny moments. But as far as Family Guy specials that go, I think this is the worst. I can't think of any worse Family Guy specials. Next up, we have Zoolander. And as much as it pains me to say it, I wasn't a big fan of this one. It's okay, but like, I was expecting like one of the greatest comedies of all time. I just don't think this was really my thing. It was a little bit too stupid for me, which is going to be really ironic considering the movies coming up that I'm going to say I enjoyed more than this. But it wasn't really like a charming type of stupid. I just found it kind of obnoxious. Maybe I was just not in the right mood when watching it. Um, or maybe I just didn't connect with its style of humor. Ben Stiller, I think, has been really funny in a lot of things, especially Tropic Thunder, but I can't say that I've seen too many of his films to really decide if I find him funny overall. And this movie, I don't know. Again, it had some funny moments. I think it's okay. Um, I like the idea of it, kind of making fun of those fashion celebrities. It's a funny concept for a comedy. It's not that funny of a comedy. Mm. Ooh, this is good. All right. I'm gonna put it. I don't know. Again, yeah, C tier, C tier. Because again, I didn't really hate it. I just didn't like it. So, next up we have the meal. If you don't know what this, I did not pronounce that right. The meal is it actually that meal, meal? I said meal, mul, meal, meal. Okay, I had that right. Okay, meal, meal, not the meal, the mule. Sorry about that. Anyways, The Mule, pretty good Clint Eastwood movie. I've been kind of catching up with the later half of his career ever since seeing Gran Turismo and Juror Number Two. I think he has a really underrated filmography. Recently, I think last month I saw A Perfect World or In a Perfect World, something like that. Yeah, In a Perfect World, which stars Kevin Costner, and it's a really wholesome but very like bittersweet movie. He's really good at directing films. I'd even say it rivals his acting a little bit. Like he's just as good as acting as he is directing, but you can't see it with that many people. Like by the time he made The Mule, he's had a lot of experience with filmmaking, and you can tell it's a really engaging and really interesting story about this old man. Kind of like a slow story, but never unengaging. You really do feel for this guy, and it's one of his most likable protagonists. I feel like he doesn't have that many like likable. He plays like outlaws and stuff, and most of the films he directs are about like flawed people. But this is like his most likable criminal that he's ever written for. Um, Very bittersweet, very slow, kind of like in a straight story, but I'd say even a little bit better. As far as modern Eastwood goes, I think this may be one of my favorites. If I have one complaint, I feel like it should have ended with him in the police car. We did not need to see the court. We did not need to see him going to jail and deciding to spend his life in there. I feel like just ending in a police car, leaving it a little bit out in the open because it wasn't really about if he was going to get out of jail or not. It was about connecting with his family, and we already know that he reconnected with his family. We did not need to see the last 10 minutes of this film. It could have ended a little bit sooner. Other than that, though, this was a really, really fine story. Um, I'm a play an A tier. This is our first A tier of the day. Let's go. Next up, we have one of the more underrated and also the most divisive Black Mirror episode, Hated in the Nation. For some reason, Black Mirror is on Letterboxd. So, I've just been logging Black Mirror episodes onto Letterboxd because, it's a good show. And this is like one of their most well, it's for one, it's one of their longest episodes. It's 90 minutes. It's about a bunch of bees or like robot bees per se, because bees are extinct, so they replace them with these kind of AI bees, robots, as you could say, and someone is hijacking or like hacking into the robot bees to kill people. And it's less about the robot bees and more about like how they die. Where there's like this hashtag online where if enough people are tagged in a hashtag, then they'll die, and it's kind of like an interesting critique on humanity and social media, as Black Mirror tends to do. It's a very slow burn, but it does have a really good payoff at the end. It's also maybe the scariest Black Mirror episode, like seeing the bees try to go into their nostrils and all their holes. That was pretty disturbing. That's a disturbing way to die, having bee go up your nose that and eat your brain. I would not want to like die like that. So a very disturbing, a very thought provoking episode. It's a little bit long. I don't think it kind of like nails the ending. I mean, the ending's pretty good and how everything resolves at the end, but the last scene per se, I just and also the characters are kind of uninteresting. I feel like we could have followed more interesting characters here. Still, one of the more solid another solid Black Mirror episode, not one of the more solids. It's a really solid show. Uh, I do think it's a little bit underrated as far as the letterbox ratings goes. I do think this is like really good. A 3.4 is a little bit low. Anyways, Next up we have Stewie kills Lois and Lois kills Stewie. These are the two episodes back to back in season 6 of Family Guy where I don't know, they're just playing anything on Letterboxd these days, but I logged this in. They're basically another Family Guy special, but this one's about Stewie killing Lois. And again, in the second part, Lois kills Stewie. And honestly, it's one of the better Family Guy specials. It's really funny, just joke after joke. Of course, as this is in like season 5 or yeah, season 5 of or 6, no, season 5 of Family Guy, it does have those jokes that go on for too long, or the jokes are kind of repetitive or just kind of gross just to be gross. So not all the jokes land. Is there's some scenes that made me cringe and still laugh, but also a lot more scenes that made me laugh. And it still has like the comedic timing of the earlier seasons, except for a couple of jokes that drag on. Has a really good rapid pace to it, and it's also just like a fun concept, like having Stewie finally kill Lois, or at least try to, and seeing the family figure out that their baby is an evil mastermind. It's kind of like the finale of that storyline of the show, because afterwards Stewie isn't really that evil anymore. So, oh, sorry, yeah. I really enjoyed this one. This is again I'm gonna put a B tier. I'm gonna put it above Hated in the Nation. It's really funny. Has its flaws, but I think the good outweighs the bad quite a bit. Next up, we have Jurassic World Rebirth, which I kind of went over in my Jurassic Park ranking. So if you want to really hear my full thoughts, go into my video ranking the Jurassic Park movies from worst to best. But spoiler alert, I put Rebirth like in the middle. It's not one of the better sequels. It's definitely not one of the worst sequels. Like compared to Dominion, this is a Godfather. Okay, this is like a masterpiece compared to whatever the hell that was. And even it's even better than Fallen Kingdom and Jurassic Park 3, but I don't think it's as good as The Lost World, Jurassic World, or Jurassic Park. If you want to know, like, my ratings is basically I just spoiled the whole ranking, so I guess you don't need to watch it, but still. Um, yeah, it has a likable cast, playing like these Oscar-winning actors like Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali. Of course, they're gonna get fine performances. I actually really like the family subplot. I know some people weren't crazy about that, but I thought it was just gonna be mercenaries going in, so it just kind of like add a unique angle to it a little bit. I like the D-Rets. I just wish he was in the movie a little bit longer. Also, for like a film about mutant dinosaurs, like these weird mutated dinosaurs, I feel like you could have them more mutated. They're just dinosaurs. Okay, some of them have long tails, but that's about it. Like if you're gonna have a story as crazy as mutant dinosaurs, I feel like you could have done something a little bit crazier, but or more disturbing. But yeah, it's fine. It's entertaining. I had fun with it. I'll put it top of C tier, I think. Yeah, yeah, that seems right. Then we got This Is Spinal Tap, which I actually saw this in its re-release for I think its 49th anniversary, 47th. It was a weird number. It wasn't like a even number. Anyways, yeah, I've been getting to watch this for the first time because it's not on any streaming services. So getting to watch what's supposed to be like a big comedy classic for the first time, nevertheless in the movie theater with my dad. That was a fun experience, and I really do appreciate watching comedy movies in theaters. It's why The Naked Gun coming up later is gonna be really high up on this list. Um, I really do like the idea here, kind of making fun of the culture while also kind of like representing it. And these characters are really funny. I like a lot of the gags, especially the one where like the drummer keeps dying in stupid ways. Like he that's constant, he combusts, he explodes, and he like chokes on someone else's puke. It was really funny. The weird thing about this re-release is that before the movie started, there was like this stupid Q&A that kind of like gave away all the jokes, or kind of like spoiled a lot of the jokes in the film. So yeah, it was just kind of stupid. It just like spoiled the movie. It was really weird. Either way, though, it's fun enough. I actually had a good time with it. One of the better comedies I've seen recently. I'm gonna put it right below the meal. Meal. I don't care anymore. Anyways. Then we got Martin Scorsese's Casino, which is just a masterpiece. Martin Scorsese has at least 5 masterpieces in his career, and this is one of them. Uh, once in a while I consider if this is better than Goodfellas. I don't think it's as good as Goodfellas, but that is a thought in my mind if that tells you anything about how good this is. Joe Pesci's really good in this. He kind of plays the same character that he does in Goodfellas and that he's known for, but he's also a lot more relaxed and reserved compared to those characters. Like he's supposed to be the crazy one, but even compared to his crazy performances earlier, is kind of like held back, which is interesting. I do think Robert De Niro's character is like the most likable Scorsese protagonist has ever been. He's like the most level-headed in the film, especially compared to the other two of the main three characters. Like he's definitely the most like empathetic character, which is actually a nice breath of fresh air. You know, having like a Scorsese protagonist that you're not like having trouble rooting for, like Henry Hill and Frank. You know, just like a character who's generally like level-headed and not even that bad compared to everyone else in the film. That it's cool to like follow a character like that. Very refreshing. Um, yeah, and Sharon Stone is also really good. I haven't really been. Is that her name? Yeah, I think it is. I haven't really been keeping up with her filmography. I think this is the only film from hers I've seen. I feel like I may watch a couple more, but this performance is anything. She's a great actress. She was really good in this, being able to hold up her own against like Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, and just like the way Martin Scorsese directs Las Vegas, he like visualizes it really well. This is like the most beautiful Las Vegas has ever looked on film. So yeah, it's a masterpiece. It is. Um I wouldn't say it's Scorsese's best. I still think I like The Irishman and Goodfellas a little bit more. I think After Hours may actually be up there, but it's at least top five. I haven't seen The Wolf of Wall Street or Taxi Driver yet. I'd say it's like a little bit better than Raging Bull if you want to like put that in ranking. We have a pretty good tier list so far. Very evened out. One in S, one in D, two in the middles. Um, but next up, we have Rocky Four. In case you don't know, you could just like go into my channel, look at my videos, look at the top viewed videos, and you'll find out very quickly I'm a big Rocky fan. I love this franchise. Just like it's one of the most consistent, one of my favorite movie franchises of all time, and I really do love it. I just think there's a couple films, or maybe even three films I'm not as big on, but even the worst Rocky film isn't terrible. Like Rocky 5, I wouldn't even say is like a terrible film. I wouldn't say it's a good film, it's just kind of the middle, and everything else is at least decent. And that's what Rocky 4 is. It's decent. Um, I never really understood why so many people think Rocky 4 is one of the better Rocky movies until now. After watching it this last time, after rewatching every Rocky movie, I just realized that Rocky 4 it's probably very rewatchable. I haven't rewatched it that many times, but it's just a very to the point story. It's 90 minutes. Um, Great montages. Like for a 90-minute movie, you have a lot of great and iconic scenes. Drago's an iconic villain. Um, I used to think the fight scenes or like the editing was a little bit corny and cheesy, like 80s type of cheesy. That's also kind of the charm with this film. Like, you really have to dissociate the first film from this one, or the first two films and Creed from this one. Like, you gotta realize that Rocky is a franchise where it could both be really goofy, really corny, really cheesy, and also be a very good drama with very heartfelt emotions. It could be both at the same time. It's one of the few franchises that could like level up those two tones really well. And Rocky Four is one of the cheesy ones, but it's also one of the it's an entertaining one. So I want I put it up here. I put it above Rebirth. I think I liked it more on rewatch, but still one of my least favorites of the franchise. I'd actually put it second to last place, right above Rocky Five, which I know is a hot take for a lot of people because there's some who love it. And after watching it this time, I realized why some people love it. I kind of see maybe on rewatch I'll like it a little bit more, but as is right now, it's still one of my least favorites, but also not bad. The Big Lebowski. I haven't seen that many Coen Brothers movies recently. I know No Country for Old Men. I watched that. Oh, actually, no. I saw what's that called? The one they do with Brad Pitt. Um, shoot. It was Things Fall Apart. Is that true? Yeah, I think it's Things Fall Apart. No, it isn't. That's the name of a book. Can't believe I have to look this shit up. Okay. Coen Brothers movies. Burn After Reading. I wasn't even close. I was not even close. Jesus. Okay, no, but I've seen True Grit. I've seen The Blockbuster Scruggs. I've seen Miller's Crossing. I've seen No Country for Old Men. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Raising Arizona. Fargo. Okay, I've actually seen a lot more Coen Brothers films I once thought. Did they direct them? No, they didn't direct this one. Yeah, no, they didn't direct this one. Why is this credited to them? Were they like producers? Don't put it in their filmography. They didn't direct it. That is confusing. Anyways, and they did not direct Bridge of Spies. Okay, that was Steven Spielberg. I know that was Steven Spielberg. That was what did the Coen Brothers do? They're not even credited here. I don't know why they're. That's weird. Google is weird. This is why I go like either IMDb or Letterboxd. Anyways, I don't think their career has been the best recently. Like I heard their last few films have been rated a little bit like off, and the Blockbuster Scruggs, even though I liked it, was just kind of it wasn't great. It was kind of like on and off in between the anthology. But either way, The Big Lebowski is one of their most iconic films, like one of their most quotable films. But I also think one of their most overlooked films, like compared to Fargo or No Country for Old Men or what was that other one I was looking at? True Grit. This one isn't talked about nearly as much, even though it seems to have the most quotable lines. Like I could name like five in the top of my head. Jeff Bridges, probably his most iconic performance as a dude. It's a very funny film. I liked it. I just want to say it's like amazing. It's I put it top of B tier personally. I wouldn't say it's exactly that funny. Maybe I just not on the wavelength of Coen Brothers comedies. I don't really laugh at them that much. But it is entertaining. It's an entertaining story, and I did like the characters, which I think is very important for a film like this. Then we got talk about switch up in tone. That's up we have Barbarian. And what the hell was I doing around here? Barbarian followed with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I was having a really bad day that day. I watched both of those films back to back. Barbarian and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That is uh, that is not healthy. Anyways, yeah, very it's definitely not one of the most lighthearted films on this list, Barbarian. But it was a really good horror movie. Justin Long, I think. I may be mispronounced. I may have gotten his name wrong. Anyways, he was really good in this as a side character. Bill Skarsgård was also pretty good as kind of this red herring where you don't know whether to trust him or not to trust him. At the end, he turns out to just be a good guy. It's one of those horror movies where it just kind of unravels as it goes along. To be honest, with how much buzz I heard around this film, I was expecting a little bit more in terms of plot twists. Like I thought, like the basement would go lower. There's like a bigger, more disturbing twist. But as is like as a film, like especially in one of these horror movies where it all hinges on a twist and an unraveling plot, it was pretty good. It ended really well too. Didn't leave any loose ends either. Like I hate when horror movies like bring up all these questions and don't answer them. Long looks. But Barbarian doesn't do that. They leave some things out in the open, but like not so much whereas it ends with you being frustrated. It's a really good mystery and a really good payoff, and also a very bloody horror movie, which I enjoyed. So yeah, Barbarian. I'm a I'm gonna go over the Big Lebowski. That seems fair. Yeah, yeah. No, the Big Lebowski looked better. I mean, they were both well shot movies, but the Big Lebowski was directed better because it's Coen Brothers and may have more likable characters. But I did enjoy Barbarian more overall, more entertainment value. Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that. And following up that ball of positivity with another ball of positivity, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Holy crap, this is one of the most depressing, most horrifying, weirdest, grossest horror movies I've ever seen. Definitely wasn't a fun movie. Also not try and be. Most horror movies should horrify you, and this does it really well. It's actually not that bloody of a film. I mean, it's a very gross and a very dirty film, but it's not that bloody. Like there's a scene where like a woman gets hanged by a hook and you don't actually like see it. You think like with a film that's so revered for being disgusting, you see it, but you don't, and you don't even hear it, but still disturbing just the way it's shot and just like the graininess of the footage. It's still disturbing. So it doesn't show that much blood, but still like really a really disturbing, really gross and really dirty horror movie and also very scary. So um, yeah, I really like that about it. Also, like one of the best shot horror movies. Not like I don't like this is like Sergio Leone type directing or Tarantino or whatever. Like it's not like incredible shots, but just like creates a very uneasy atmosphere with very little budget. Like that really yellow orange tint on the sky and stuff. It just makes for such a dirty experience watching it, and really just adds to the whole film as a whole. So Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I'm actually gonna put in the bottom of A tier. It was a very effective horror movie. Then we got Avengers: Infinity War. I don't know. I felt like rewatching this, especially since this year I've actually gone back into Marvel. I feel like it kind of been back on and off the last few years. Like Loki and Deadpool and Wolverine is really good, but they have like Echo and of course Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania, which was just like terrible. But I feel like they're getting back on track. The last three MCU films I really enjoyed, and Superman I really enjoyed, so I'm really getting back into enjoying superhero films. So it kind of made me want to rewatch Infinity War after so many years. Like I haven't seen this for like I feel no, maybe I rewatched it after watching it in theater, but I only remember watching it in the movie theater because it was just such a unique theater experience. Watching Infinity War with like a packed theater is like a top five experience. Like I had homework that day, but you know what? I don't care. That homework can like screw itself. That was a great experience. I would miss so much homework to relive that. But anyways, what this hit on rewatch? Would this hit not watching it in theater, just watching it by myself on the TV at midnight? Would it work without the audience? It actually did. I really enjoyed this on rewatch. It was very entertaining. For a 2.5 hour movie, there's not like a dull moment. Really balances a lot of characters very well. And yeah, rewatching Infinity War makes me excited for Doomsday. Seeing like what these directors did with that film. Thanos is such a great villain. Very much carries every scene he's in. Yeah, I forgot how good this film was. I actually really enjoyed it. I'm gonna go top of A tier. Also brought me a little bit of nostalgia because I could just remember all the lines. I could even like quote them if I wanted to. Yeah, it was cool to rewatch. It's like if you're gonna like rewatch any Marvel film tonight, rewatch Infinity War. It's actually like a cool experience. Um, then Betty Noor, which is another Black Mirror episode, and also I think one of the weaker ones. I didn't really enjoy this one that much. I mean, it's not bad. I think it's okay. It's decent. It definitely has a cool, interesting premise with the Mandela effect. But then you can get to the plot twist, which, without spoiling anything, in case anybody really wants to see this episode, uh, is just like jumping the shark. Not even jumping the shark, just like jumping the moon, grabbing that shark, throwing it to Venus, that type of stuff. Like the technology is not believable. Usually Black Mirror has very believable science fiction. This one I just feel jumps the shark too much, where it just starts grounded and then gets like too wacky, like the wackiest Black Mirror episode. Um I did like what they did with like the first half with this woman going crazy, thinking she's going crazy at least, and there's like a lot of like blackmail or what do you call it, gaslighting. Blackmail? How did I get those two mixed? A lot of gaslighting there that I thought was very interesting, and a good performance. Black Mirror's full good performances. I watched Smithereens earlier today. I didn't like it, but the performances were really good. I can't think of any bad performances from Black Mirror, so it's not really even a compliment. Yeah, I'm gonna put this above Zoolander. No, I'm not. I'm gonna put yeah. Okay. And next up we have one second. Next up we have Superman. James Gunn's Superman, the start of the new DCU. I was really excited for this. The trailers look really good. It looks like a unique superhero film, and it was. It was great to like see like a different type of superhero film. Um, just the way it's shot is different, and the score was really nice. David Cornsweet did a great job. It has a lot of end meter res where it just puts you right into the action and doesn't spend any time explaining it, which I actually really enjoyed. Just you have to figure it out yourself. They don't spell out anything to you. It just throw you into this whole different world. Kind of reminds me of Star Wars: A New Hope, and this is probably how some people felt watching Star Wars: A New Hope when that came out. Um, yeah, if you want my full review, just watch my Superman ranking because I think that was playing better. But I'm actually put this right below Infinity War. That seems right. Yeah, that seems right. Um, and we have Rogue One. I watched, I rewatched Andor with my mom. And after we were done watching Andor, which is also one of the best shows of all time, by the way, but and you probably already know that. Uh, we watched Rogue One, which is kind of like a finale to the show in a way, with the way they structured it from the show, which was really smart. So you could just watch Rogue One right after and be Rogue One. Just the way it's made, it's kind of like a 3 episode arc of Andor, which is really cool after watching the show. But it's also like not the tone of Rogue One is different from Andor. And obviously, it's made by different writers, and it's a different quality of writing, and the characters are less fleshed out than they are with Andor. And even the score, I really like the score of Rogue One, but I love the score of Andor. So just to have like more Andor content without the theme song is just really weird, really jarring. So I don't know how I feel about this, like just rewatching it after Andor. It feels a little bit out of tone. It feels a little bit jarring when comparing the two. But it's also really cool to see how like Andor just set it up in a way. And even like the last 3 episodes of Andor got a little bit like got a little bit like more fun, kind of like setting up Rogue One. So yeah, I enjoy it. I think it's a good film. It's definitely on rewatch. I'm definitely growing on it. And after watching Andor, like I used to think this was kind of mediocre, but after watching Andor, it greatly improved to good. But that's it. It's just good. Um, so it doesn't like detract from my love of Andor at all, which is great. I put it above The Big Lebowski. It's one of the better Star Wars films. As negative as I'm being, I really do enjoy this one. It's just, compared to Andor, it's a little bit jarring watching this after the show, but it's also complemented by the show. A lot of butts in that review. Then I saw Day of Anger, which is, I mean, at this point, I haven't seen a Western movie in a while, unless you want to count The Meal, or I guess Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a little bit like a Western movie. But this is like the first Western film I've seen in quite a while, or at least an old spaghetti Western, which was fun, going back into that genre. Um, it stars Lee Van Chief. Lee Van. I used to call him Cleveland Chief. I learned recently that's actually Lee Van Chief, and now I don't know what I believe. So someone in the comments tell me how do you spell his name? How do you say his name? Because I have no idea. Um, but yeah, Lee Van Chief is fantastic. Like in every role he's in, he just has like the face of someone who would live in the West. Just a really good face for those antagonists, but also protagonist roles. And his character is really interesting here, where you think he's gonna be a protagonist and kind of go back and forth, but at the end he turns into somewhat antagonist. With that said, though, Lee Van Chief surprisingly isn't the standout of this movie. It's the other guy. I don't know the name of the actor. I think this is his only like big role, which is a shame because he was really good in this one. Like his character is like one of the most interesting, most fleshed out characters in both spaghetti westerns, where he starts off as this very timid guy who can kind of shoot a gun, but not really, just kind of like wholesome, and then he becomes more cocky, and you see like his cocky, more arrogant side come out, which starts to hurt the people around him. So then he goes back to being a good guy again and swearing revenge on Lee Van Chief. It's a very interesting, very good character arc that you don't really see in many spaghetti westerns. Like most spaghetti western characters are very flat, stoic characters. this guy goes through a lot of development, which is really fun to watch. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I do think that directing, like most spaghetti westerns, it's unfair to the genre because the most popular spaghetti westerns are directed by Sergio Leone and Sergio Corbucci, who are just such good directors. I do think it's really helped by Ennio Morricone's score. Morricone could make The Room one of the best movies of all time. He could make any movie great by just the score. This one in particular, like the score to Day of Anger, is like actually like the better half of his scores, which is to say, it's an amazing score to this film. The more I am talking about it, the more I want to put it higher. But overall, I wouldn't say I love this movie. I just really liked it. So I'm gonna put actually top of B tier, Day of Anger, or actually below Barbarian. That was a really good horror movie. Below Barbarian. But that said, though, the next spaghetti western I saw, which is actually the last film I saw as a 15-year-old, or no, 16-year-old, is Django Strikes Again. No, Django Prepare a Coffin. Yeah, I don't know where I got that from. I was just reading. I'm not wearing my glasses. I'm wearing my sunglasses. I thought that looked cool. So, anyways, Django Prepare a shotgun. Right? No, Django Prepare a Coffin. Okay, I keep getting the name wrong. It may be the worst. It may be the worst movie I saw this month. I'm looking through all the other options. This was a really good month watching movies, and this one was just kind of boring. I didn't really get invested in the story a little bit at all. The guy who played the villain in this one was pretty good, and also I forgot the name. Who's the name of? They didn't bring back the guy who played Django in the first film. They brought the guy from My Name Is Nobody. So Terrence Hill, right? Terrence Hill. That's right, Terrence Hill. Terrence Hill plays Django in this one instead of Franco Nero. It was Franco Nero, right? Oh, okay. I'm really good at this. Anyways, yeah, Franco Nero did not return to a sequel, which is kind of weird because the director of this film actually worked with Franco Nero in another film. So you think that he'd be able to bring him back, but I guess not. But Terrence Hill was a good replacement. He actually did a very good job as Django and deserved a better movie. And the coolest part of this movie is the ending, which is just like a rehash of that one scene from the first movie where he like opens a coffin and brings out the machine gun, like arguably the most iconic scene of that film. They redo it in a way that actually works, where they do the same twist twice and it's surprising both times, especially the second time, which I was not expecting at all. Like, once I like figured it out, it was too late and then he just starts like killing everyone with the machine gun. Like, it was like amazing. Just any film with a machine gun goes up like two stars at least. But the rest of the film, minus Terrence Hill, whoever played the bad guy, and that one scene, is just okay. It's just like the same shit you see in every Western movie. So yeah, bottom and D tier. I wish it was better. I really do. Terrence Hill deserves a better movie playing Django. Um, anyways, 28 years later, I rewatched this film. This film was I Okay, I've rewatched a few films this year, now that I think about it. I was about to say I haven't rewatched many new films this year, but I rewatched Rebirth. I actually rewatched Rebirth two times this month. One with my mom, one with my dad. I rewatched Thunderbolts, I think, and then I rewatched I did, and I rewatched 28 Years Later. Which is to say that 20 years later was it just like stuck with me. Overall, it's not like a fantastic film, but it really is a great film. I do think the ending is still stupid. Like even rewatching it, the ending still doesn't really do it for me. Uh, Excuse me. But one thing that really stood out to me first time and especially the second time is the soundtrack. The soundtrack to 28 years later is like fantastic, bro. Like you actually need to look up the soundtrack. It's from a British band called Fathers, and I actually added it to my playlist. Just the opening scene with the score Promised Land playing and then Lowly the scene later. I think I said the name right. Those two songs are just great, and whatever music I think it's called Remember, that song playing when the mother died was like so emotional. The mother dying is still like one the most emotional scene I've seen this year, like the saddest scene, maybe even compared to I wouldn't say it's sad, but I do think Superman had a really wholesome scene with him and his parents that almost made me tear up. But yeah, that's easily the saddest scene. Just seeing Spike's mother die and the performance of Spike's mother. I forgot who played her, but she was amazing. I'm gonna be honest. I'm calling it now. 28 years later, should win Best Score and should win Best Supporting Actress and maybe even Best Supporting Actor with Aaron Taylor Johnson, who with very little screen time leaves such an impact that makes you want to see more of his character. Just adds so many layers in his performance to this character who's very flawed, but also a very loving father that you really do care for, don't want to see die. And yeah, I loved a lot of things about this film. It was really good. Um, I do think it kind of like loses focus on the zombies at the end. Maybe that's why I don't have it like in S tier, but as is right now, this is A tier, baby. I'm putting this above This Is Spinal Tap and below The Meal. It was really good. Anybody who hasn't seen 20 Years Later, watch it. The only nitpick I have at the end of the day is the ending where those guys in the stupid tracksuits just start fighting like the goddamn Power Rangers, and it's just like the most tonally stupid, most tonally jarring thing I've ever seen in a horror movie that just completely takes you out of it at the end. And if you're just talking about that last scene, it'll easily be in the bottom spot. But those last 2 minutes are enough to destroy the rest of the film that I think was really good. Yeah. Okay, I really lost myself there just talking about it. There was a lot to talk about there. Anyways, the next film is actually a Ben Affleck movie that I heard about and saw some still images about, specifically those guys wearing the nun mask with machine guns, which has kind of become an iconic image I think everyone has seen once in their lives. Um, but it's The Town, which is also very underrated. This is a very underrated Ben Affleck movie. That makes me want to see more of his films. I saw Air a couple in 2023, I think, or 2022 when I think 2023 Air came out. I really loved Air. I think it was like one of his best films. Um, I've only seen one of his films actually, so um, but yeah, Air was a very underrated film last year. So being able to see another Ben Affleck movie did excite me, and The Town was really good. It has John Hamm in a supporting role, and what's that guy's Jeremy Renner is giving one of his most intriguing, best performances. So different from what usually see from him in like the MCU, and of course Ben Affleck is pretty good too. Um, yeah, I really enjoyed this one. It's a very exciting, very edge of your seat thriller. What do you call it? Just like your average bank robbery film, like Dog Day Afternoon, I guess. And yeah, it's very nice, very Boston movie too. I love how Boston this is. So let's go above, let's go right below. No. Actually, let's go top of B tier. The more I talk about it, the more I love it. It really is a good film. Next up, we have my second Studio Ghibli film. I saw My Neighbor Totoro a few months ago, like 6 months ago, I think. No, five. Anyways, Spirited Away is my second Studio Ghibli film, and also widely considered to be one of the best animated films of all time, and I can see why. I'm not really in the ballpark though. I still think there's like a couple of animated films I like better, like Into the Spider Verse and wait. I was just thinking about Ratatouille. Yes, the film about the rat that cooks food is still one of my favorite anime films of all time. I don't care. Um, but Spirited Away, it's just like so visually striking, because Into the Spider Verse has the advantage of using all these different art styles and having so much effort put into it. Spirited Away is just 2D animation. It's just drawing. It's 2D animation, and it looks just as good, if not even a little bit better than Into the Spider Verse. Visually, this is the best 2D animated movie I've ever seen. Just like seeing this weird, unique, creative world that's also kind of scary, but also very heartfelt. This is like the most dreamlike movie of all time. This is like a weird that one weird dream you get when you're 6 years old that you actually really enjoy and you think about once in a while and you get kind of nostalgic for. This is like a very nostalgic movie, even though I've only seen it one time. Um, I like the protagonist. She actually acts like a kid, and she's able to like yell and be loud, but also not be annoying, which is like saying a lot for me because I hate kids. I think kids are annoying. She was not annoying. She was okay. She was a likable protagonist who acts like a kid. So yeah, I really like Spirited Away. I'm gonna put it right below Infinity War. I won't say I love it. I think I need to rewatch it one more time for me to decide if it's actually a masterpiece. But yeah, as it is right now, it's a very neat, very well made 2D animated film. Then we got the Indiana Jones 3, The Last Crusade, which is honestly my favorite Indiana Jones movie. Just the pairing of Sean Connery and Harrison Ford, they have great chemistry, and it definitely has like the most action of any Indiana Jones movie. There's obviously the boat scene and the tank scene, and even the ending has some action. Like compared to if you had to choose between the first film and the third film, I choose the third film. I really do think it's the best Indiana Jones movie, one of the best Spielberg movies. I love it. It's one of my favorite sequels of all time. And the great thing about watching it this time, something that I didn't pick up on the first few times I watched it was the dialogue, like the plot. Because I watched it when I was really young, and when you're young, you're not really like concerned with the plot. You're concerned with who's gonna be shot next, or who's gonna do the backflip or punch the guy. All the action scenes. You're not really concerned with like the actual plot. But watching it older, with like a more clear mind, just picking up on all these plot points I didn't figure out earlier, it was a really cool experience. Even cooler experience is because the reason that I was able to pick up on most of the plot is because I actually watched it in a movie theater, the Beverly, which, if you live near LA, go to the Beverly or the Vista, two theaters that re-release old movies. And they're really good vintage movie theaters. They'll show 15-minute cartoon or 5-minute cartoon at the beginning and these old vintage trailers before the movie. It's such a cool experience. And sometimes they even have an intermission. Honestly, my favorite movie theaters, especially the Vista. But this one I watched on the Beverly, which besides for the food, is also a great movie theater. And yeah, like it was just so cool watching this in a theater with a packed crowd. Such a cool experience. I'm so glad I was able to experience that. Yeah, this is going S tier. This is right below Casino, I think. I don't know. I may actually put this above Casino. I don't. Just I'm still deciding. I'll figure it out once we're done with the live stream. Then we got Chronicle. Very funny that I watched this month because it's made by the same guy who made the really bad Fantastic Four movie. I haven't seen it. His name is don't tell me. I know this. It's Tim something. No, it's not Tim Miller. He made Deadpool. Tim. Never mind. I don't know his name. I'm gonna look it up. Chronicle. Directed by Josh Trank. I wasn't even close. Why the hell was I saying Tim? Josh Trank. I don't know where the hell that came from. Anyways, yeah. This is a director who's made some bad films, like of course, the Fantastic Four reboot, and what do you call it? It was that Capone movie. I think it's called Capone with Tom Hardy, which also got really bad reviews. Very unfortunate because Chronicle is actually a really good film. I think he did a great job of Chronicle, especially the main three actors with, of course, Dane DeHaan and Michael B. Jordan being the most popular ones, and now is Russell for some reason not making a movie after this one, even though he gave one of the strongest performances here. Especially Michael B. Jordan. He doesn't have as much screen time as the other two, but he does leave a good impression. You could like feel the screen presence from his one of his first roles. And Dane DeHaan was also pretty good. I've never been a big fan of Dane DeHaan, mostly for the fact that I've only seen Dane DeHaan in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which wasn't exactly a good film, and he didn't exactly give a good performance in that. But he was actually pretty good here too. A little bit like corny and cheesy, but in the right ways that are still believable. So he was really good as this teenager who kind of like turns evil or turns like less good, kind of that development, one of the more interesting characters in the film. But anyways, enough about the cast and the director. It's basically about these three teenagers that touch a rock and they turn into superheroes, or at least they get superpowers, and they kind of mess with them a little bit. They're not really like fighting crime; they're just like using it to show off and stuff, like teenagers would. They become friends along the way. But it's a found footage film. It's told through cameras and surveillance footage, and being able to show a superhero origin story through like found footage and cameras is actually really cool the way they did that, especially in the ending when you have that big fight scene, and the way they show it just through cameras was actually really creative. I really like that. Yeah, I enjoyed this one. It was an interesting drama with engaging characters and a really cool story, really cool plot that I've been wanting to watch this film for a while just for the plot, and it did deliver. I wouldn't say it's great, but it did deliver. So I put her right below the Big Lebowski, actually right below the Family Guy special because that really is funny, but right above Hate in the Nation. Then we got a film that I wasn't expecting to be as good as it was, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which is I thought the Truman Show was Jim Carrey's best performance. He's amazing in this one. Really shows that he could be a really good dramatic actor who could like win Oscars and stuff. He just goes with comedy films, which he's also really good at. I won't complain there. But yeah, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, a very intriguing, very visually weird, but also very charming and very heartfelt film that's really sad. I actually wasn't expecting it to have a happy ending at the end, but I'm really glad it did. Very sad film. Um, yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I'm a Oof. I don't know. These three are really good. I'm gonna put it right below The Last Crusade though. But right above Avengers Infinity War. So yeah, I can't even review it well because there's just like so much stuff that happens. It's such a weird film. Just watch it by yourself. It's such a cool creative concept that they explore really well. Next up we have Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2. I actually watched a double feature. So it isn't exactly like as they're shown in their theatrical releases. It's like edited differently where you take out the opening scene to Kill Bill Volume 2 and the ending to Kill Bill Volume 1, and they kind of like go together more. Just add a 15-minute intermission in the middle. I watched it at the Vista, which was such a cool experience being able to watch Kill Bill with all these Kill Bill fans. There was this one guy sitting right next to me who was like really into the film and just kept shaking the chair like it was like Matterhorn bobsleds. It just kept shaking. It was really annoying, and I really hate that. But otherwise, it was a good experience. It was a great crowd, and yeah, it's cool to like be in a room where people are really enthusiastic about this movie, watching this film in the big screen for the first time. And I gotta say, Kill Bill has never been one of my favorite Tarantino movies until now. Of course, he's made like so many great movies. He's legitimately he's yeah, he's my favorite director of all time. Just saying it right now. Ever since I got into this his films and just rewatching all of his films, I have a Hateful Eight T-shirt and a poster in my room, which I actually probably should show in my movie reviews. But anyways, um, yeah, and Kill Bill, I've never been like a huge fan of his those films. I thought they were great, but they weren't masterpieces compared to like his other films. That wasn't my personal favorites. But rewatching in theater, here's the thing: every movie is better in movie theater. Okay, I rewatched Jaws for the first time in a theater a few years ago, and it was amazing. Like I watched Jaws so many times before watching in theater, but it was still like such a different experience watching Jaws in IMAX and watching like Avatar. Like Avatar was never one of my favorite movies, but after watching it in 3D, I finally understood why it's like one of the is the highest grade rated highest grossing movie of all time. And same thing with Kill Bill. Just, again, I also watched The Last Crusade in theaters for the first time, and that's amazing. And Kill Bill 2. Just watching those two movies in theaters, I I still think Kill Bill Volume 2 is a little bit better than Volume 1, but now they're like a lot closer in quality. So yeah, I'm gonna actually put them above The Last Crusade, but right below Casino because I really, really do love Casino. Um, but yeah, um, after talking about some of the best, most amazing, greatest films of all time, like just a row. Actually, like the last few films that I've talked about were just like great after great film. Like, what did I talk about? I talked about like the Kill Bill movies. I talked about Indiana Jones. I talked about Eternal Sunshine and then Spirited Away. Just like a great row, a great like streak of great films. And for some reason, I ruined that really good streak of really good films with Death of a Unicorn. I saw it on Peacock. I thought, what the hell? It looks fun. I wanted to see it when it came out of theaters, but I knew it wasn't that great. So I thought, what the hey? I'll watch it. It was mediocre. It was actually pretty mediocre. I take back what I said about Django. It's not easily the worst film. It's still the worst film I saw this month, but it's not easily. Definitely Unicorn. It tries to be funny a lot of time, but it's only funny 10% of the time. Will Poulter is actually really good. He kills all his comedic timing, all his comedic scenes. He's a really funny actor. Everyone else though, Paul Rudd is just playing Paul Rudd. Jenna Ortega is just playing Jenna Ortega. The actors are just playing themselves. They're not. It's not even like a great cast of actors aside from like the three I just mentioned. Um, it's a very goofy, very cheesy concept. But either had to be a darker comedy or it had to be a cheesier film for me to really enjoy it. It was just neither. 28 Years Later was my favorite film so far of 2025. Honestly, like top at least top 10 for me. At least top 5 actually. It was amazing. I agree with you, man. 28 Years Later was really, really good. The score, the soundtrack, everything. I already talked about it, but it was good. I have the soundtrack on my playlist now, actually. Young Fathers, their name is. They're a great band. Anyways, yeah, definitely Unicorn was just kind of mediocre. Like the most mediocre film that came out this year. Um, I legit can't think of any other films that came out this year that are as mediocre. So, yeah. Sinners, 28 years. Sorry, the chat was a little bit cropped out. Sinners 20 years later and Bring Her Back are my top three. However, 28 just felt the most innovative. That's actually a good point because one of the things I loved about 20 years later is Danny Boyle's directing. I won't say he's like an amazing director, but he just had so many like unique, interesting camera choices. Like every time a zombie was shot, they did like that 360 thing with the cell phones, and that's a really cool shot. I actually want to see that in more movies. The 360 or a 180 type of shots with the cell phones. That was really cool. And I actually haven't seen Bring Her Back. I haven't. I actually watched what's the name? Talk to Me. I watched Talk to Me a few months ago, but I haven't seen their new film, so I'll check it out. You're saying that it's a top three film. It actually has good reviews, so I gotta check that out. But yeah, okay. Happy Gilmore 2. Um, some people really hate this one, and some people think it's pretty funny. I actually think it's pretty funny. It's a fun time. Okay, like in a year, not anymore with like Naked Gun. And This is Spinal Tap 2, but like in a year or like a decade or like last 5 years, where not many comedy movies are coming out. Happy Gilmore 2 was just it was fun. It was fun to watch a new comedy movie, even if it is a Happy Madison production. I will say this is one of the funnier modern and Adam Sandler movies there is. It may help that Happy Gilmore is one of my favorite Adam Sandler comedies, so I'm actually really stoked to see a sequel. I like this the celebrity cameos, okay? Like call me dumb, but cameos still make me smile. Like Eminem was really good in this. He was pretty funny. Danny is a master of his craft in editing. I really hope Nia does good, but I'm not confident. Yeah, Nia is her name. I think she directed the Marvels, right? Or yeah, I heard that MCU movie was just kind of mediocre. So I'm a little bit wishy-washy on the second film, but I am really like I do love these characters. I really do want to see what they do with them next. So even if the directing doesn't live up to it, I'll still watch the sequel. Oh, Jack Shimmy is one of the most intriguing villains I've ever seen. Sometime Bring Her Back is amazing. I guess you're saying Jack's Jimmy as in that guy in the ending. Honestly, like I didn't like the ending. I'm gonna be honest. The last 2 minutes where they just like turn into full Power Rangers and stuff. I thought that was a little bit weird. I didn't really get into that. I feel like it was too tonally jarring. I know what they were trying to do. Okay, I understand the context behind it, but it just felt a little bit tonally. It felt kind of stupid. I'll be honest. The rest of the film was great though. Being a '90s kid, I think it's cool they have a villain who contracts Spike's growing adulthood, contrasts with Jimmy's Arrested Development. That's actually a really good analysis. I didn't think about that, but yeah, I guess Spike becomes a really mature character at the end, and Jimmy just stays immature. That's actually an interesting angle that I want to see them explore. Um, yeah, symbolizing adulthood. Jimmy never grew up. I never really thought about that, but the more you talk about it, the more I'm a little bit intrigued. I still think the ending's a little bit stupid, but you actually did make me appreciate it a little bit more. Anyways, Happy Gilmore 2 is going C tier, right above Betty Noor, because Betty Noor is like objectively the better movie, and even Zoolander, but I just had more fun with Happy Gilmore 2. I'll be honest. This this film to me symbolizes an Arthurian metaphor. I, d- I gotta be honest. I don't really know exactly what it means. I'm not if that's a England thing. I don't know what Arthurian metaphor is. If you could explain it. Anyways, Fantastic Four, First Steps. And now that I think about it, that tagline, First Steps, is a lot smarter than when after watching the film. I kind of understand it now. But anyways, I already talked about this in my MCU ranking, so if you want to go back to that and hear my full thoughts, you can. But to just kind of rehash what I said, I still really like that. I like the retroistic '60s futuristic kind of time periody world they had. Like the world of Fantastic Four is really cool. I like that it's in an entirely different universe, so you don't have to do any homework to understand Fantastic Four. And I honestly kind of wish the MCU did more of that in the multiverse saga. Just have like movies in entirely different universes where you don't have to watch the previous films to understand it. I liked all four of the main characters. I do think the Thing gets the short end of the stick. I do think we need a little bit more development, but they still like fleshed out the characters enough to make me care about them. I want to see sequel with them. Overall, Matt Shackman did a really good job directing, and I had fun. So yeah, just kind of to speed run through my thoughts because I already talked about it. I'm gonna put it right below Superman. That seems right. Actually, no. Okay, I'm not gonna put it above it. I'm going to watch Naked Guns and watch it, man. Naked Gun is really actually. I just came out with a review of the Naked Gun on my main channel, so if you want to watch that before watching it, you can. But I really did enjoy that one. Just I miss those type of comedies, man. Like Top Secret, Spaceballs, the Zucker Brothers, Mel Brooks, just those type of spoof movies. We don't see those anymore. And it was really cool to just experience that in theater. Watching a spoof movie like that in a crowded theater, I've never experienced that before. It's such a cool experience. 28 years later, I'm stupid. 28 years parallels a coming of age tale and the Arthurian tale of growing up. Ralph Fiennes' doctor was a Merlin wizard medical man of sorts, akin to the druids of the early Britain. Spike is King Arthur, Holy Grail. Okay, I see what you mean. So there's kind of like some what do you call it? Some allusions in the film that kind of like parallels different stories or different folklore. That actually it's kind of explains why they show like the old movie of those people like shooting the arrows, and it's kind of like a medieval movie. That kind of explains it a little bit. That explains some of the editing choices, and they're like when they're like crossing the bridge. That's really cool. Yeah, it's very meta. Holy shit, can you be a movie reviewer? Can you take my job? Because I did not realize any of this stuff. You're like opening my eyes to some of the symbolism of this movie I did not like pick up on. All homage to Fairy Tale of the Old. Yeah, okay. Anyways, to go from that very deep analysis to one of the most stupid movies I've ever seen, The Hangover. And obviously I say that in an ironic way, like I really did enjoy this movie. It's a lot of fun. Um what's his name? Todd Phillips. You could like make fun of the Joker all you want, but he is a very good visual director, and he directs this film really good for a raunchy comedy. Las Vegas looks really nice in this film. And yeah, it's just such a cool premise, like a very unique premise for a comedy movie. All the actors do a good job. Bradley Cooper, Zach Gaffigan, who for some reason hasn't been in a lot of films recently, but really should. Um, whatever the guy from The Office, they all have great chemistry together, and yeah, it's just such a cool premise. Especially Ken Jeong. Ken Jeong was really funny in this one. He was starting with the scene where like jumps out of the trunk and just like starts beating on them naked. Like he's like the best part of this movie. He's really funny. So yeah, The Hangover. I'ma put it it was a really good comedy movie. I'm gonna put above Day of Anger. I really did enjoy this more than I thought I would. I watch a lot of good comedy films this month. Sorry for yapping, but damn, I love 28 Years Later. Hey, no problem. I love the discussion. I saw it back to back. I highly recommend Bring Her Back. Sally gives one of the greatest horror performances of all time. She's up there with Anthony Hawkins. I just watched Silence of the Lambs last month, so you saying that yeah, I heard she gives a really good performance. I heard. Kind of wish she was in Paddington 3, but if she was really good in this movie, I guess it's fine. Whoever replaced her in Paddington 3 didn't really did a good job replicating her performance, but she's just such a good actor. So yeah, that's a. I don't know if anybody's ever seen this film, or at least that many people have seen it. This is actually one of Christopher Nolan's first movies. This is like a student project of his, and if you were to tell me this is like the student project of any director, I would have guessed David Lynch. I would have guessed this film was made by David Lynch, not Christopher Nolan, because it's just like a really weird film. It's about this guy trying to swat a bug. It's very well directed. The camera moves quite a bit. It's black and white. It's very weird. It has very eerie music. It's kind of a disturbing short horror film. And then at the end he swats the bug, which is a mini version of him, and then a big version of him comes from behind him and swats him, and that's like the whole 3 minutes of very weird film. Honestly, it kind of shows Christopher Nolan's like weird mind at the beginning. He actually directs this short film really well. So I'm gonna actually put this top of D tier just like out of default because it's just like a 3 minute weird short film about him like swatting a mini version of himself. So obviously I just don't feel right playing C tier, but really is a well directed short film or student film. She's insane. This one. The Philip Bros are so good at horror. Yeah, they used to be YouTubers and they turned to filmmakers. Very inspiring. Which Nolan film are we talking about? Fallen? No, this is Doodlebug. Oh, I just realized that in the poster, his eyes are like the two O's in Doodle. You could literally just watch Doodlebugs right now. Just look it up on YouTube and go back into the stream in like 3 minutes. That's how short the film is. But yeah, again, very weird student film. If you were to tell me it was directed by Nolan, I wouldn't believe you. But yeah, it was very interesting watching this one. Then we got American Gangster. And very recently, I've been figuring out that Ridley Scott is kind of an awesome director, okay? I used to just think of him as a guy who made Alien, Gladiator, and Blade Runner. But, like, I recently watched Black Hawk Down, I watched American Gangster, and I'm realizing that, yeah, he's made, like, a lot of great films. His last few films haven't been great, but they've been like directed really great. Like Napoleon and Gladiator 2, he's just so good with scale, just like the directing of the film. It's such like big films with big battles. You just don't see that in modern filmmaking these days. Just like the scope of Ridley Scott's films. So even if his last few films haven't been great, I still really enjoy them. American Gangster is one of his best films. Basically, the usual rags to riches mob film about the guy who becomes a big mobster, and you kind of follow the detective, try and catch him, and him going up the ranks. Just very Scorsese-esque, but also not at all like a Scorsese film. Very unique in a way. Like Denzel Washington gives a great performance. I never thought of him as one of the best actors of all time, like most people do, but he really does do a good job making his character very empathetic, but also very intimidating when he wants him to be. And Russell Crowe also gives a very underrated performance in this. It's also a really very amazing true story. It's one of those true stories where when they reveal that's a true story at the end, you're like, what? No. I mean, it really is just a very crazy story, especially the ending. How it resolves. Just watch it for yourself. It really is a great film. I'm really happy to see you rank Kill Bill Parts 1 and 2. Yeah, rewatching them made me realize that, yeah, these are masterpieces, and just seeing them, I actually watched them in a movie theater back to back. The whole Bloody Affair, I think, is called the double feature. I wrote a script that was heavily influenced by Kill Bill. It's my favorite Tarantino. My second favorite would be Django. I love Ridley Scott. Gladiator is a masterpiece of spectacle. I'm gonna make you mad. I haven't seen Gladiator. I've seen bits and parts of it, but like I feel like I already know where the story leads. I've been spoiled quite a bit, so I just never really gotten into it. But I gotta rewatch. I gotta watch the whole thing. Um, but yeah, you wrote a script influenced by Kill Bill. That's actually really cool. I've never wrote a script in my life, so that's cool to hear. Hope you sell it, man. Hope you sell it. The most Scorsese film I saw this month was Wong K. Wong. I'm sorry if I'm saying this wrong. Wong Kar-wai's '90s classic Fallen Angels. Oh, okay, that wasn't name. That was the name of the director. I've heard of Angels. I haven't seen it. I'll add it to my watch list. Thanks for the recommendation. If it's like a Scorsese film, I'll definitely check it out because I love his type of like films. Wong Kar Wong Kar Wai. Wong Kar Wai. Okay, thank you. Yeah, but American Gangster, I'm gonna put above Superman. I think that's fair. Yeah. Then we got Shane Gills, live in Austin. Shane Gills is a funny guy. I like his stand up. I'm not a big stand up guy. I watch John Mulaney. I watch Ricky Gervais. He's pretty good. I like the way he gives his line delivery. It's not like he's doing a stand up. It's like he's making jokes with his friend or talking to you like a friend. And he really is funny. This is one of his highest rated comedy specials. I wouldn't say it's great. I'm not gonna put it that high because it is just like a 60-minute comedy special. But it was funny. I laughed. I did really enjoy it. I'll put it right above Chronicle, but below the Family Guy special. American Gangster is Fire. Yeah, one of his finest performances. Russell Crowe was really good in that one. And Spirited Away is amazing. I love Princess. I haven't seen Princess Monaco yet. I've only seen My Neighbor Totoro and Spirited Away. I still need to watch other Studio Ghibli films. I'm gonna make that my mission this month. I'm gonna watch at least 3 Studio Ghibli films in August. I'm gonna try, and I'll try to start with Princess Monaco. What's ever on HBO Max. I saw it on HBO Max. Wasn't big on Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I could see that, man. It's a very weird film. It's a very weird, especially like visually. It's definitely not like a straightforward. I could see why someone wouldn't like it or think it's like too weird. Princess Mononoke is top three of all anime films of all time. Akira is number one. I'm very new to anime. I'm trying to finish watching Chainsaw Man, but yeah, Kira and Princess Mononoke. I'll keep my eye out for those films. Anyways, The Naked Gun, the original from Leslie Nelson. I rewatched this one for the first time in years. Just as good as I remember. It really is great. Leslie Nelson just he kills it with comedic timing. Especially in the first film. I don't know if I'm gonna rewatch the sequels. I heard they're not as good as the first. As far as the Naked Gun franchise goes, I think the most memorable moments are from the first film. But yeah, there's just like so many funny scenes. It would take like an hour to go over every joke that made me laugh. I also love that it's 85 minutes, especially the new film that's 85 minutes. I love comedy films that have short run times because if they're like 2.5 hours, I'm probably gonna check out at some point. Like that's something Judd Apatow needs to realize. I guess I guess because Judd Apatow makes like dramedies, like they're very drama based, he could go 2.5 hours. But yeah, most good comedy films are 90 minutes, and Naked Gun included. So yeah, I just love Zucker Brothers. I love this type of style of comedy. Um, uh, yeah, I'll put it right below Superman. I don't know. This is a very loose ranking. I don't know if Texas Chainsaw Massacre is worse than This Is Spinal Tap or The Mule is above 20 years later. This is like how I'm feeling right now. I could go into my letterbox, see where I have it ranked officially, but this is just how I'm feeling talking about it per se. Check out Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust the film. That's another anime, Vampire Hunter. Yeah, I'll check it out. Is that like a TV show or a movie? Because most TV show animes that are mostly 10 hours, I have trouble following. But if it's like a movie, I'll definitely watch it as soon as possible. I gotta watch the OG Naked. You haven't seen that? You gotta watch them, man. They're like the best comedies. Gotta take my buddy to watch the new one to watch the new one to watch the. You mean the old one? Watch the newest. Yeah, I mean, if you at all love spoof movies like Zucker Brothers or Mel Brooks, you'll love the new one. So don't worry about it. If you want to get into writing, download Zelks. It's a free program. I ran two scripts, one coming of age film and another revenge thriller drama. Very Zelks. I haven't written screenplays, but I've actually thought of writing one, either just for fun or maybe to sell it. So yeah, I'll think about that. Zelks. All right, I'll come back to this live stream, search that up if I feel like it. But yeah, thanks for the recommendation. A horror script and a romance epic. Good luck, man. That sounds pretty cool. Do it? Yeah, I may. I may. I don't know because school starts very soon. I'm gonna be very busy, but yeah, I mean, I'm not really thinking of making that much content. I can't think of any like big videos I want to make soon. So yeah, if I have the time, I'll do it. Yeah. Anyways, Neighbors, which in a month where I've watched so many good comedy films, this is not one of them. It's fine. It's fun. There were like some jokes that made me laugh. It's just like nearing 2.5 stars in Letterboxd, but I think I put it as 3 stars in Letterboxd just for how fun the concept is and how much they really explore it. Where it's just like these frat bros moving next to this old or like this middle-aged couple who are trying to take care of a baby, and it kind of becomes this rivalry that like turns into this whole thing. It's a very funny concept for a comedy movie. Seth Rogen, say whatever you want about him as a person or like his films. Not all of his films are great, but he just has a really good sense of humor that I really enjoy in most of the films, like Knocked Up and um another one that I've seen. I can't think of any right now. Um, and Zac Efron was actually really good. Like Zac Efron has really good comedic timing. I love his dramatic roles, like the Iron Claw, but like he was pretty funny in this one. And Dave Franco, he gives a pretty good side performance. And whoever plays the wife in this one was also pretty good. She's an Australian actress, and she really has good chemistry with Seth Rogen. There's a lot of things I like, but every time there's a good joke, there's also a joke that makes me cringe or is kind of obnoxious, kind of a back and forth type of thing. But it did make me laugh more than it did make me laugh. So it's an okay. It's a decent comedy. I'll put it like right below Rocky 4, I think. I just saw Mel Brooks' History of the World Part 1. It was so genius. To be honest, I saw Young Frankenstein. I saw Spaceballs. I saw the Blazing Saddles. I have not seen History of the World. I need to see more Mel Brooks movies because as much as I love his filmography and I even own a book about Mel Brooks and his autobiography that he wrote himself, I have not seen History World. I have not seen Silent Movie. I've actually seen his Hitchcock spoof where he like spoofing a lot of Hitchcock movies, High Anxiety. But no, I haven't seen those two. You haven't seen any of those? Okay, well, I'll watch History of the World and Silent Movie. You can watch Blazing Saddles because it's really good, especially Spaceballs. The sequel's coming out soon, so if you want to watch that one, watch the original. It's really, really nice. Then we got Al Pacino's Dog Day Afternoon. This is from the same director who made 12 Angry Men and Network, Sidney Laurent, I think. I may have messed his last name up. It's Sidney something. Um, and every time I think I've seen the best of Al Pacino, I realize that Al Pacino's filmography is like an iceberg. I've only seen the tip of the iceberg, and there's just like so many great performances. The more you see this iceberg, this is a very weird analogy, but he just has so many great performances every time I see a film of his that are like better than the last one. And Dog Day Afternoon is no difference. This may be one of Al Pacino's best performances. I just loved the concept of this film. This guy robs a bank and is cornered, but kind of makes it like a media spectacle and is able to have fun with it. That's such a cool concept, and it really does take advantage of that. You could tell this is from the director of 12 Angry Men because he just has such an engaging way of moving the camera and really sucking you into this concept and these characters. Al Pacino, again, amazing. Whoever plays Sal is really good too. No weak performance of this. Everyone is giving it their all. It's such, yeah, it is a classic, very edge of your seat film, very engaging film, and so many films have tried to replicate this. Like after watching this film, I thought about so many other films. Even The Town is kind of like Dog Day Afternoon. But yeah, it really is a unique. What the hell? Oh, it's sugar. I saw some weird stuff in my coffee mug. Anyways, yeah, just such a great film. I'm a ooh. I'm gonna put. I'm not. I need to rewatch it one more time before I put it in S tier. Before I say it's a masterpiece, I'm gonna put it above Infinity War though, like top of A tier. Yeah, and I want to watch his filmography. You were talking about. You were you were talking about Mel Brooks, right? Okay. And then we got the last film I watched this month, which is also the newest film of the year, The Naked Gun, starring Liam Neeson, and it was great. It was really. I'm not gonna spoil it because I know I haven't seen it, Low Chaos, but yeah, it was really funny. I think Liam Neeson had great comedic timing that I think is even a little bit better than Leslie Nielsen. At least if you're comparing the first Naked Gun with this Naked Gun, I think they're just as good. And just seeing a spoof film again, just seeing a spoof film in a theater in opening night and a packed crowd was just so fun. I cannot remember the last time I saw a comedy film like this in a theater. If I've ever seen a spoof movie in a theater, ever. I guess this is Spinal Tap, but that was like a re-release. It was just me and my dad and this other guy who was like at the end. It was a very empty theater. Seeing a comedy film with so many people is just like such a unique, cool experience. Kind of like watching Infinity War, honestly, just like that fun of experience. This is one of my favorite theater experiences of this year, and yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. It was very funny. So many jokes that made me laugh. There's this one with Liam Neeson doing voiceover, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's my favorite of the film. And the trailer didn't make me laugh that much, but ironically, the jokes shown in the trailer are some of the funniest of the film. It's just like edited in the trailer where they could like take out the comedic timing or the context or like that manslaughter joke in the trailer is in a completely different order in the movie. But like there's like so many layers to that joke that you don't see in the trailer that make them really funny. Every time you think a joke is over, it just keeps going and it just like adds to the comedy. Yeah, you can tell Seth MacFarlane produced it. You could tell this is from the same director of Hot Rods. Just really, really good. One of the finest comedy movies, probably the funniest movie I've seen in a while, or funniest movie that's come out in a while. I wish he would do more dramas and comedies. I'm tired of the revenge action roles. I was about to say that. I think Liam Neeson, this is like his best role in a while because he's just like so. Recently, he's just been doing these direct to DVD like action films that everyone just watches once and then forgets about the next day. He hasn't done like a big movie. What has he done recently? Actually, I kind of forgot Liam Neeson because he had really good comedic timing in this one. Just his deadpan delivery of every joke. Um, let's see. Oh, oh yeah, he was in Schindler's List. That's his best role. I don't know. Why I'm talking about The Naked Gun. That's his, and Batman Begins. He was really good in that one. But Absolution. Has anybody seen Absolution? No. Nonstop, Hardest Heath, The Ice Road, The Lands Instinct. I've actually heard The Ice Road is very good. Memory. Um, Ice Road Vengeance. They made a sequel of that one. Okay. Ice Road Vengeance. That's a very corny but very great. I like that. I like that name just for how stupid it is. Just like the most generic like title card, Vengeance. Just 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 make a sequel to the Transporter and call it the Transporter Vengeance. That's really good. And his Retribution. Yeah, no really big films recently. He was really funny in Ted 2. Like if you liked his cameo in Ted 2, you'll like his performance here. But yeah, just so great to see him have a great role in a great movie again. It's so different from what you're used to him being in. He should have won the Oscar for Schindler's List. What came out that year? What, 1993? Actor. Well, 1993 Oscars Best Actor. Al Pacino won for Scent of a Woman. What has Al Pacino also won? Because I feel like he has so many better performances in his career. I have not seen Scent of a Woman. Uh, did they not go over it? I guess they're not showing the nominations. Anyways, yeah, I think he could have won that one. It's weird that he didn't. Um, Honestly, what did Schindler's List win Oscars nominations? Because I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Schindler's List, but I do realize that it's objectively a good film. Okay, Best Picture, Best Director, Best Cinematography, Best Original Score, all this. Okay, I'm assuming Ralph whatever his name is won Best Supporting Actor for like the villain performance, right? The Nazi, he was really good in that one. Best Costume Design, yeah, I guess so. Best Makeup and Hairstyling, Best Sound Mixing. Ooh, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, they do have really good sound mixing in that one. Not a lot, when the score is not playing, it's a very like very quiet but also very loud movie. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I do think Liam Neeson definitely could have won an Oscar. I'm surprised he didn't. Anyways, The Naked Gun is going. Ooh, I had a lot of fun with this movie. I may even put it above the original and above Superman in my enjoyment levels. I liked it more than Superman. Yeah, right below American Gangster. Yeah, he lost. Dang. He should have won the Oscar. He should have. I haven't seen any of those action movies. Me neither. Revenge films don't work without heart. It's what makes Kill Bill a masterpiece. The film is about allegory for a single mom getting her kid back. That's actually a good point. I think so. I think like revenge movies that don't have a heart or make you care about what's happening are just like John Wick had a heart. It's about like a guy grieving with his like wife. Obviously what makes John Wick a great film is the action, but like, seeing him like really grow connected to his dog, and you see him really like sad and conflicted about going back into becoming a hitman after like promising his wife that he wouldn't go back to that lifestyle, but he does anyways. It does create for like an interesting character. John Wick was a very good, well developed character in that one. So you're right about that. Revenge films are great with a heart. Um, and yeah, oh, that kind of reminds me. The Naked Gun has this one scene where like, uh, it's kind of like parodying a revenge film where like someone's about to kill the bad guy, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's like one of the funniest scenes in the movie. It's at the end. You'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's my list of everything I saw this month. I'm also rewatching the first two seasons of Breaking Bad. I rewatched the first two seasons with my mom. I finally convinced my mom to watch Breaking Bad. I know, just applause. But yeah, she's loving it. But more importantly, I love rewatching the show. A lot of people like to talk about how different season one is, but I'm honestly more fascinated at how much stuff they got right about season one. Like season one, there's so many great moments. Obviously, the pilot is amazing, and episode three where he kills Emilio and he looks at the glass. I mean the plate, and there's a piece missing. That's a great scene. Obviously, this is not meth, and they like throws in the ground and it all explodes. So many great moments in first season and the second season. Once you know where it's going, the pacing is a lot better. I used to think season two was really slow, but I honestly really liked rewatching it. Luke Ponto, nice to see you here. What's up, Schofield? Just got back from seeing Naked Gun. It was great. Yeah, I do agree. I was just talking about it. It's really good. I really need to get around Breaking Bad. Watch it. It's like the best show of all time. I haven't seen Game of Thrones yet, and I just started watching The Sopranos. That's another thing I watched this month. I started watching The Sopranos. I'm almost done with season one, and it's good. I like that they kind of focus on the family angle a little bit more compared to like most gangster movies. Like that's something Scorsese kind of goes into, but not as much as The Sopranos does. And seeing like a gangster who like goes to therapy and you really see the inside of his mind, his mindset, that was really cool. So I'm really enjoying The Sopranos, but that's about it. That's about it. That's all I watched. I also watched San Junipero, but that was like 1 a.m. of today, so doesn't really count as a movie I watched this month. But that was also okay. One kind of overrated. But yeah. Okay, thanks for everyone who watched this stream. I think I'm gonna call it a day. I think I'm because I've been talking a lot, my throat's starting to get dry, and my coffee is cold. I'm gonna finish this right now. Never mind, it's going I just made a mess. But yeah, thanks for everyone who popped in, watched the stream, liked it. Um, if you want to see more like it, I'm thinking of doing this every month, where I just like go through every film I saw each month. That would be really cool. Um, and yeah, I know that I in my community post I put out a poll asking which video you want to see next, and the most voted was all the MCU movies ranked. But I already did a live stream doing that. I honestly don't want to rewatch that many movies, so I may come out with a new poll. Maybe you want to watch me rank the Transformers movies for a video. I've been thinking of watching all those, or another franchise. I've been thinking of doing another Batman ranking. I haven't done that in a while. Okay, Banks. Okay. You were only here for 1 minute, weren't you? You just joined the stream right now as I'm ending it and you said L stream. You're kinda right, but okay. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. I just marathon the entire Alien and Predator. There we go. Okay, I ranked the Predator. I mean, I ranked the Alien movies a couple months ago, but I could definitely rank the Predator movies with the new one coming. Okay, I just came up with a new video idea. I'm gonna rank all the Predator movies. I'm gonna rewatch them. Thanks for actually giving me that idea. I didn't think of that until now, but yeah, okay. Thanks for everyone watching the stream, and have a good day. All right, adios.